Have you ever wanted to see how a broiler chicks grows from day 1 until 45 when it is ready to go to the market? In this video, we're going to experience how a poultry farmer from Australia usually takes care of his broilers. I hope that this video will inspire you and all the best in your poultry farming business. So let's watch this video.
My name's Susan and this is my husband Andy, and we are chicken farmers. We've been farming now for 4 years. We have 240,000 birds in 6 sheds on our farm.
Wow, 240,000 birds in 6 sheds. So how many birds are there in one shed? 40,000 birds in one shed. Wow. I can see that they have a very good, road network around the sheds, and also I don't see electricity by the way, but I believe there's electricity and there's water. You can see the silos.
Chicken farming is great. We really enjoy the work that we do, caring for the chickens. They're a great livestock to have, and we're really proud of raising chickens for the community. At the beginning of the batch, our chickens are hatched, and on that same day they arrive on a truck from the hatchery. But before that, we've had to make sure that we've prepared the sheds ready.
No. And by the way, when you get your chicks from the hatchery, ensure that they have been vaccinated against the Marek's disease, so that you can avoid mortality from day one, and that will help the birds, be strong and continue living until when they are ready to go to the market.
For the chickens to arrive to a nice clean environment. So some of the things that we have to do at the completion of the previous batch is to disinfect and clean the sheds to make sure that there's no germs and bacteria left in the sheds from the previous flock, just so that our new chicks get a really good start. Some of the jobs that we need to do right at the beginning of preparing the sheds for a new batch is to go around, make sure all of our...
I wonder how many workers they do have, because on this video I'm seeing only 2, her and her husband. I'm seeing only 2 workers, and I see that everything in this farm is mechanized. I wonder how many workers they do have.
Fans and ventilation equipment are all in good working condition, and it's an opportunity to do any routine maintenance. Following that, we'll then...
And when you bring in a new flock after the previous batch, ensure that you repair all the things that might have broken during the previous batch, because you cannot repair those kind of things when the birds are there, because you're going to cause them stress. And when the birds don't have, the peace, and or when they are subjected to stress, they will not, grow very well. So this is the best time to repair those things.
Start setting up the sheds, and that means bringing in new wood shavings that create the bedding for the new chicks.
Yeah. Also, these wood shavings helps, to insulate the birds. Also helps to absorb all the moisture that the chicken poops, and that usually prevents conditions such as coccidiosis, usually predominant in cases whereby there is dampness. Yeah. So get a good wood shaving, or also can get sawdust from your nearby sawmill.
Litter. It serves a few purposes. It's absorbency. It's a good insulator for the birds to maintain the heat. And they enjoy dust bathing and that sort of stuff in it.
We make sure that we've got fresh starter, which is a bit smaller for new chicks, comes in fresh straight from the mill. And we also flush the water lines so that everything they've got is fresh. And then we turn the heaters on and make sure that the whole shed, including the floor, is at the optimum temperature.
Oh, so at this farm there's no, there's no the brooding place, because the whole structure is insulated. So there's, so the whole structure acts as a brooder, because I've seen that they don't have a specific place where they do carry brooding as compared to us here back in Africa. Most small-scale farmers. And I hope that this may inspire you, so that one day you may start a large commercial broiler farming. And
so we use temperature monitoring systems to make sure that we're achieving an even spread across the sheds.
One when the truck arrives. We bring them straight in down.
Wow. You see, even the chicks are being removed by a truck. I believe that may be so easy, but also I do think that mostly in these developed countries, the labor is not that cheap, so they do opt to use machines, which in the long run may be cheap. But here in Africa, I don't think that most farmers will buy machines to offload chicks. They would rather get laborers for just that one day and just pay them maybe $5 per day and offload all the chicks. So this may be a different kind of scenario compared to other farmers.
To the far end of the brood, and then we just start setting the crates out and place them as quick as we can, get them onto the feed and water.
We lower the feeders and drinkers down to just above ground level so that the chicks can...
Wow. Also, you can see that the feeds have been poured on the polythene paper so that the chicks can learn how to eat first, and then I do think later they'll remove the feeds from the polythene paper and then put them in the feeder, because now the chicks will have learned how to eat.
Very quickly find food and water.
And it's amazing, once you've placed and we've moved down the shed for the next placement, the chicks have found the feed, they're hitting the drinker nipples, they love that stainless steel colour. Yeah, they're pretty smart.
In the first 24 hours we're coming into the sheds to check the chickens. Every couple of hours we'll do a crop check, and that's just checking to make sure that...
Wow, that is very good, because if you do check the crop, you see that there is some feed that the chicken has eaten. Also, you do have to check if the chicken has a pasty butt, because now that will prevent the chicken from defecating, and that may lead the chicken to die because it is not removing the waste that it has.
We can feel that they've ingested some food and water. When we first walk into a shed, we're coming in to do...
Wow. Also here you can see that they do have some sort of foot bath, whereby they do dip their legs or their shoes into this copper sulfate solution, which usually kills germs, so that they don't bring other kind of diseases from outside there into the chicken house, and that is very good. So you can should also ensure that to maintain this kind of biosecurity in your poultry farming.
Our husbandry checks. So we're looking at the chickens, looking at their behaviour. Are they comfortable? So is the temperature okay? Their behaviour tells us if the temperature isn't right or there's patches of hot and cold in the sheds. So
Nice even spread.
yes, yeah.
Not clumped together or sitting against the edge of the shed.
What they're trying to say is that you should always check whether the birds are responding, how they are responding to the temperature. If they are spread across the chicken shed, that means that the temperature is evenly distributed, and if they clump together, you need to adjust your temperature so that you can help them live freely without congestion, which may lead to stampeding on another, and that may lead to death.
And then that gives us warning as do we need to change some aspect of how the shed's operating. Some of the other things that we do is just walk through and see if any have died. There is a level of mortality in the chickens, so we're just walking through and we'll remove them from the sheds.
Yeah, you should always move dead chicks from the chickens, so that sometimes I've seen this condition in my farm where the chickens usually eat the dead chickens. So if you remove the chickens, the dead chick, that will prevent such kind of condition from happening.
Record all of the information that we observe, as well as some of the physical things that are going on, like the temperature within the sheds.
We've got a generator that runs the whole farm. It's big enough to run all 6 sheds on the hottest day with all the fans going. We can monitor the conditions inside the shed remotely from home. Alarms that are monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And we know straight away if there's anything wrong.
Now you can see that the chicks have already matured, and it's about 2 to 3 weeks old, and they look, they look good.
Our daily checks when we come into the sheds, we are looking to make sure that the feeder and drinker lines are at the right height. So we'll be adjusting them probably every day as the birds grow, just lifting them up a little bit more. We're also looking to make sure that the water pressure in the drinker lines is adequate for them and that the feed quality in the pans is good. The other thing that we'll do is also make sure that the litter condition is still dry and friable to get all of those good qualities that we want.
During the warmer times of the year, we have sensors down the length of the sheds, monitored by our computer, and it just gives us an indication when we should start using our cooling. After we've done our inside checks, we do our outside checks. That includes checking bait stations. We like to maintain all the ranges. It really helps us control rodents or birds coming in around the sheds and helps us control disease.
Biosecurity is a big deal for any poultry farm to protect the health and welfare of our chickens. We need to make sure that we don't introduce any diseases or influences from the outside. Now that the chickens are bigger, they have more feathers on their body and the temperature inside the sheds
now because the chickens are much bigger, now the temperature can be reduced.
Is cooler because they're able to regulate their temperature easily with their adult feathers.
Once our chickens get older and have a good feather coverage, ours have the opportunity to go outside as free-range birds. We normally open those pop-outs early in the morning once the temperature comes up a bit, so it's not for them. Our chickens have access to the range during daylight hours, and the amount of time they can spend out there is dependent on the weather conditions.
The health and well-being of the chickens is our main focus on the farm. The company rep visits the farm regularly. They're looking at our chickens and their welfare, but they're also looking at our records as well to make sure that we're maintaining the right standards. They're available along with a company vet 24 hours a day if we have any questions or any issues that we need to liaise with them about.
Always call a veterinary officer so that you can come and check it out. You don't have to try to save that money, because if you try to save that money and then the condition worsens, you're going to lose all your investment. But if you call a vet, the condition will be detected much earlier than expected, and that will help you save a lot of money in case of high cases of mortality.
We have an external auditing program that occurs throughout the batch, and that's to make sure that we're maintaining a high standard of farming for our chickens.
Once our chickens reach the right size for market, we have the birds taken off feed for a period of time. Once they've been lifted up, we've always got water there for the birds to drink, and that stays down right until the catches are ready to go in. Before the catches arrive, we do a walk through the shed.
Wow. So that when they want to sell the chickens, they do remove the feeds and they only leave the water so that you can clear out the feeds from the bird system, so that during the process of the slaughter, it will be much more easier for the processors to take. Also, it will be it will not be good. It will be expensive to feed the birds, and they are going to to be slaughtered almost the same day, and that will be a loss. And they do save on that. That is so fantastic.
To make sure that all the chickens are fit for travel. Once the catches arrive, I have a chat with the supervisor, and basically just hand the control of the shed to him. They then go in, catch all the chickens. They transport them to the processing plant for slaughter.
Once all the chickens have been collected, we go in and we clean out all of the used litter. We wash down all of the sheds and then fumigate to make sure that any diseases have been eradicated, so that we've got a really clean start for the next.
You've seen that they are fumigating and removing on the litter. When the birds are they just lift, and then they'll do fumigate again when now they want to bring new birds. So those are two instances of fumigating or disinfecting the whole chicken system or chicken house, the feeders, the drinkers, and the general environment. That is so good, so that you can maintain very high biosecurity.
Batch of chickens that come in. Life of a chicken farmer is busy whether or not we have chickens on the farm. There's always something to do.
But we really enjoy it. We love what we do and happy to supply a good product for Australian consumers.
And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. I do post farming videos, and I hope that this video will inspire you, to start doing poultry farming very seriously, because you can see that there's other farmers doing that